Welcome back. So today we will be beginning with this topic, lease. In earlier video we saw sale, the rights and liabilities of buyer and seller, and we also saw a landmark judgment, Madam Pillai versus Badar Kali, right? Now we will begin with lease. We must have observed some people in our locality give possession of property to another for some period of time for money, but it does not constitute sale. It is called lease. So what is lease? When for a certain amount of period, in exchange of a certain amount of money, the land is given to the another person, but it's not the transfer of ownership. Rather, you can say it is the transfer of possession, right? Because the person to whom you are allowing to live on that piece of land, he will have the possession of that land, not the ownership though. And what he is giving you, some amount of money, and for that amount of money you are allowing him to live on your piece of land for a certain period of time. So that is called lease. When you are not constituting, when you are not conducting a sale, when you are not transferring a property ownership, rather you are transferring the possession of the property, and you are allowing another person to live on your land or do activities on your land for a certain period of time in exchange of certain amount of money. Lease is a transfer of right to enjoy a property for a specific period of time in consideration for a price. That's what I have told you. Lessor is the person who lets out the property for lease, means who gives the property, जिसकी property है, who is the owner of that property, and he is giving the property to be used by the another person. And lessee is the person to whom the property is leased, to whom the property is given for enjoying or for a certain period of time. So lessor is the one who gives the property, and lessee is the one who gets the property. Lessee can also sublet the lease, and relation between lessee and sublessee will be that of a lessor and lessee. Now what happens if there is another person A who gives his piece of land, he is the owner of the land, okay, to B as a lease. Now B also gives it to another person C as a lease. So in this case he will be the lessor, he will be the lessee in this particular case, okay, and for this case he is the lessor and he is the lessee. I hope it's visible and it's clear. Illustration: A for a period of 3 years lets out his property for use to B for sum of rupees 50,000. This is called lease. A is lessor, B is lessee. If B sublets property to C, then B will be lessee, C will be sublessee. Relation between C and B will be of between A and B. As I have told you, the same example is given. Then we come on to the topic, rights and liabilities of lessor and lessee. Rights and liabilities of lessor: disclose defects of property which is known to him and is not known to the lessee, same as it was in the selling case, right? Give possession of property. As I told you, possession is transferred, not the ownership. Lessor shall let out the property for lease to lessee and make sure lessee enjoys the property without any interruption upon payment of money. Now this means that as soon as that amount of money for which he has leased out the land, that amount of money is paid to the lessor, then it is the responsibility of lessor to ensure that lessee is living properly, efficiently, he is enjoying the property. Enjoying the property means he is able to do various essential activities on the property in a fluent manner, you can say, okay, without any interruption. So there should not be any interruption, there should not be any interference, and just the lessor has to ensure that he enjoys the property in the best manner he could after he has paid the money, of course. Rights and liabilities of lessee: if any addition is made to lease property during lease period, then addition can be compromised in lease. That means if there is an addition, means if a construction is made by the lessee during the lease period, then obviously if you make a construction for increase in value of the property, then there would be some amount of money that you have to spend, right, that the lessee had to spend to increase the value of property. So in that case, when that amount of lease would be adjusted accordingly. Okay, if I had to pay rupees 50,000 as lease, but I have done something, I have made a construction, or I have advanced something on the land, and obviously I would have to spend money for doing that. So the amount that I have spent on it is, let's say, rupees 20,000. Okay, so in that case, in the lessee amount, in the lease amount, I would be adjusting it accordingly, and now I would only have to pay rupees 30,000, because 50 minus 20,000 is rupees 30,000. I have spent rupees 20,000 on your land. I was only a possessor of the land. I was not the owner of the land, that I would have to bear all the profits and losses that are associated with it. I was only the possessor. So if I am spending anything on the piece of land, and it is for the welfare or the advancement of land, it would increase in the value of land, then of course that lease amount would be adjusted accordingly. If any part of lease is destroyed or made unfit by flood, fire, etc., then lease shall be voidable by lessee. The lessee gets a right to accept or reject depending upon his wish. So if there is a case, any natural disaster has occurred, there was a fire due to which the property is not destroyed, I would say, but it is being, damaged very badly, and there is only a small plot of land which is now available for use as compared to the original piece of land. So now the contract of lease has become voidable on the option of lessee. Means the lessee, if he wants, he can accept the contract after the natural disaster had damaged the land, or he may also reject it. So it's totally upon his wish. If lessor fails to make repairs to leased property, lessee may make repairs himself and recover the amount for repairs from lessor. As I said, if I have done anything for the advancement, for the repairing or something sort of, as I explained in the first point, the same thing is written, then in the lease amount or any, it will be recovered from the lessor, because I am just the possessor of the land. If lessor fails to make any payment with respect to property and is recovered from lessee, the lessee shall get it reimbursed from the lessor. That means if suppose we have to pay house taxes, right? And if the lessor was not able to pay the house tax, or intentionally he had not paid the house tax, and the people come to the lessee, obviously, because he would be residing at that place now. He comes to the lessee, and the authority says that if you don't pay me rupees 1 lakh right now, I will just damage this property and you will be thrown out of it. In fear of being thrown out, and the lessee doesn't have any piece of land or any place further to go from there, so he may give rupees 1 lakh at the moment to the authorities, and later on when the lessor comes, he may ask that, now I have paid this much amount of money to save your land from destruction, you pay back this much amount of me, right? So that can be reimbursed from the lessor. At time of completion of lease, lessee should hand over the property to the lessor in the state in which it was received. The lessee may transfer, rent or sublet leased property with consent of lessor. Now, as we saw in that case, that illustration case, B was renting to C, right? So this contract has to take place with consent of the owner of the land. Disclose to lessor any fact that lies in property that will increase the value of property. Lessee should pay rent at a proper time and place as specified by the lessor. So the rent should be, जैसे generally क्या होता है, at the first day of the month or at the end day of the month, rents are paid. So whatever the condition is, whatever the conditions are specified by the lessor at that particular point of time, that particular place, the rent should be paid time to time by the lessee to the lessor. Lessee is bound to keep leased property in good condition when he is in possession of the property. As we saw earlier, that he has to transfer the property after the lease period is over in the state, in the condition in which it was provided to him. When notice of any defect is given to lessee, he is bound to rectify it within a period of 3 months. If any defect is being done, that lessee was a family man, okay, and he has a child of 2-3 years. So we can't teach those 2-3 years children much, and they have a habit of scribbling on the walls, right? They have a habit of scribbling sketch pens or pencils or pens whatsoever comes in their hand on the walls. So if such defect has happened, and this was not the condition in which the property was supplied to the lessee, then lessee and the lessor notices this, that oh, my walls are damaged. That means, if paintings are done on the walls, obviously the value of the land would decrease, because nobody want some arbitrary paintings on the walls, and nobody wants that land. So in that case, if the lessor notices that such defect has happened, and he asks the lessee that you repair it, then that has to be done within a period of 3 months. Lessee may use the property and products and must not do anything destructive to the property, as he has to return the property in the condition it was provided to him. So he has to take proper care of it. He has to use the property in the manner that would not result in the destruction or decreasing the value of the property. Lessee should not erect any permanent structure without the consent of lessor. Lessee is bound to put lessor in possession of property for determination of lease. So it's very important, remember these things. These are very common things, but then we come on to a landmark judgment, which is Gajadhar versus Rombhi. It may sound very funny to you. Gajadhar versus Rombhi. It is a case of 1938. See, a theatre was subleased, and sublessee was prevented from using the theatre by original lessor on ground that a notice was served on lessee for determining the lease. Now, as we saw earlier, that if the property is transferred from A to B, he is lessor, he is lessee, okay, number 1, number 2 I made to put. And if B is transferring it to another person C, he would be the lessor 2 and he would be the lessee 3. Sorry, lessee 1, lessee 2. And this contract has to take place with due consent of the owner of the property, that is A. We saw this thing. So if the theatre was subleased to a person, say C, and sublessee, that is C, was prevented from using the theatre because the original lessor, that is the owner of the property A, he says that I had served a notice to the lessee, that is person B, that on what basis you are leasing the property, or you can say here the consent of owner was not taken. Sublessee had to pay an additional amount to the original lessor and then take the lease. It was held that there is a violation on part of original lessor, and sublessee can sue the original lessor for damages for violation of quiet enjoyment of property. So in the case, it was held that sublessee had to pay additional amount so that he may, from the original lessor, he has to pay the, like uska contract B se hua, but then too, because A was not allowing C to use the property, so he has to pay a certain amount of money to A also, so that he may get the possession of the property and he may use it for his own purpose. So this thing was considered arbitrary and wrong by the court, and the court held that there is a violation by original lessor, and sublessee can use the property because he had the right, and that right was violated by the original lessor. So sublessee can sue the original lessor for damages. Damages is compensation. It can be in terms of money as well, for a violation of enjoyment of property. Understood? Now the next topic is exchange. When two persons transfer ownership of one thing for ownership of another, it is called exchange. Section 118 of TPA. TPA is Transfer of Property Act. It may be important, it may not be important. It depends upon what kind of papers your schools set, okay? Because I don't think these types of questions will be asked in your competitive exams. I don't think it personally. And depending upon the types of paper that your school set, you may learn these things or not learn. When two persons, they are transferring the ownership of a property for the ownership of another property. That means if I have a piece of land, like say if A has a piece of land L1, we can say B has a piece of land L2. A is interested in L2, B is interested in L1. Okay, then what will happen? They will exchange their ownership lands. Okay, B will give the ownership of L2 to A, and A will give the ownership of L1 to B. So here the exchange of ownership of land is taking place in exchange of another land, right? So such cases, now if let's say the worth of this L1 land was 50 lakhs, okay, 50 lakhs. Worth of L2 land is rupees 45 lakhs. Now, are they equal? No. So in such circumstances, if it is 45, this is 50. You are buying a land of 50 and you are paying only 45 lakhs. So additional 5 lakhs need to be paid, okay? Transfer of property by exchange can be made only by way of sale. Rights and liabilities of parties to exchange shall be that of rights and liabilities of buyer to extent of receiving and seller to extent of giving. Right? As I told you, it's the same as, generally same ही होते हैं सबके. So here rights and liabilities of parties to exchange will be the same as rights and liabilities of buyer to the extent of, like, A is giving the land to B, L1 land to B. So his rights and liabilities are same to the extent that this land is being transferred to him. He would be the buyer of the land, and his rights and liabilities would be restricted to the point that he is selling that land, and vice versa, because he will also giving a plot of land to A, right? Illustration: A offers to sell his cottage to B. B, in consideration of cottage, sells his farm to A. Instead of getting money for his cottage, A has received a farm. This is an example for exchange. Rights and liabilities of A will that be of seller towards the sale of cottage, and will that be of buyer towards the sale of farm. I think it's clear. It's very simple thing which is written. Similarly, rights and liabilities of B will that be of buyer towards sale of cottage and seller towards sale of farm. Gift: a transfer of ownership of property that is made voluntarily and without consideration. Obviously, when you go to a birthday party or any wedding invitation or any such parties, you give a gift to the another person who is the host of the property actually, right? So is that because you are being forced by the host to lend him a gift? No, you give it on your wish, right? Whatever gift you want to, whatever article you want to give to the person as a gift, you give it voluntarily, you give it by your own wish. So the act which is done voluntarily, without getting pressurized, without getting interfered by the any other person, that is gift. ये गिफ्ट बोला ही इसलिए जाता है क्योंकि कोई फोर्स नहीं कर रहा आपको ये एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं होती कि अगर हम, if I am giving a gift to B, this person doesn't has an expectation that B will also give a gift to me. There is not an expectation. So here you can say he's donating sort of thing. He will be donor and he will be donee who gets the thing, okay? So there is no consideration on one side in gifts. रिमेंबर दिस थिंग, ए से बी में फ़्लो हो रहा है लेकिन बी से ए में फ़्लो होने के लिए कोई कंसिडरेशन नहीं है, बिकॉज ए इज़ गिविंग ग्रेचुitously voluntarily a gift to B and he has no expectation that something in return would also be provided from B to A. Then only it is a gift. If you have an expectation and there is a consideration from here to here also, it will not be a gift. The person making transfer is donor, person to whom it is made is donee. If donee expires before accepting the gift, it becomes void. Now, like that happened A to B. A is no more. I had packed a gift and I want to give it to B. But when I reach his house, I find that B is dead. He has expired. So in this case, that gift contract has become void. Because any contract which is there, it is important the two parties to be living. जिन दो parties के बीच में contract हो रहा हो, it is important for those two parties to be living, to be existing. And if one party has died, then that whole contract becomes void. Then to it, and also if A to B transfer is going on for an article or for a property, whatever the case may be, and that property is destroyed by fire, okay, or by any natural disaster, but that property is now no more, then also the contract is void. A gives his car to B accepts the car but does not pay anything in return. This is known as gift. In this case, A is donor, B is donee. Now there is a table: sale, lease, exchange and gift. Sale, transfer of ownership for price. Consideration is obviously for one person is the land and for another person is the price. Mode is sale deed should be registered. Lease, transfer of limited ownership because only the possession is being transferred, and for the piece of land that is provided to another person to live upon and to enjoy the basic essential activities, he gives a particular amount of money as rent. So consideration, as I told you, for one person it is rent, for another person it is land to live. Lease deed should be registered. Everything should be registered in the eyes of law, okay, whether it is sale, lease, exchange, gift, whatsoever. Exchange, transfer of ownership for some another property. Exchange is obviously, consideration is another property. Gift, transfer of ownership without consideration. As I told you, there is no consideration, no expectation that the property, that there will be a thing which would be transferred from B also to A. ऐसा नहीं होता गिफ्ट में. Now intellectual property, this we will be doing in the next video, okay.